Have you ever felt like our calendar is off? Not by a day or two, but by whole centuries. Well, today we're diving into something truly mind-bending, the phantom time hypothesis. It's a radical theory that suggests a huge chunk of our history wasn't just forgotten, it was straight up invented.
I mean, really think about this for a second. What if 300 years of the history you learned in school just never happened? That it was all a fabrication? An entire era of the early Middle Ages just poof, a story made up to fill a gap.
So how could anyone even begin to fake centuries of history? Well, to get our heads around that, we first have to look at a time when days, not years, but days were officially deleted from the calendar. This takes us to our first section, a crack in time.
Okay, so it all starts way back with the Julian calendar, introduced in 45 BC. It was a brilliant system for its time, but it had this one tiny little mathematical flaw. Now, over 1,500 years, that tiny flaw started to add up, kind of like a clock that loses just a fraction of a second every single day. By the 1500s, the calendar was off by 10 full days, and that meant the most important date for Christians, Easter, was drifting away from spring and creeping into summer.
The calendar was officially broken. So who's going to fix it? In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII decided to do something absolutely radical. He wasn't just going to tweak the calendar, he was going to reset time itself.
And how did he pull it off? Not with some gradual, gentle adjustment. Oh no, he went for a hard reset. He just erased 10 days from existence. So one day it was Thursday, October 4th, and the very next day, bam, it was Friday, October 15th. A week and a half, just gone, vanished.
Now, you might think this was some quiet change only scholars noticed, but people definitely noticed. In places like England, which took a long time to adopt this new calendar, there were actual protests. People were in the streets, literally shouting, "Give us back our 10 days." And this proves a really crucial point. Our timeline isn't some fixed law of nature. It's decided by people in power. And hey, if you can delete 10 days, why stop there?
This real-life, historical edit of time sets the stage for a theory that is so much bigger, so much more radical. One that claims it wasn't just 10 days that were fabricated, but nearly 3 entire centuries. And this, my friends, is the phantom time hypothesis. All right, so what exactly is it? Proposed back in the 1990s by a German historian named Heribert Illig, the phantom time hypothesis claims that the years from 614 to 911 AD, that's 297 years, almost 3 centuries, were completely made up, inserted into our timeline, that they never, ever happened.
But why? I mean, why on earth would anyone do this? Well, the theory points a finger at a conspiracy between 3 incredibly powerful rulers, the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and a Byzantine emperor. Their goal, supposedly, was to manipulate the calendar so that Otto's reign would land right on the hugely symbolic and powerful year 1000 AD. And they allegedly did it by forging countless documents, inventing battles and events, and even creating entire historical figures out of thin air, including, and get this, the great Emperor Charlemagne himself.
But hold on, because if you think faking 300 years is a wild idea, it's about to get even more extreme. Illig's theory basically kicked open a door for another one that doesn't just question a few centuries, it questions entire millennia. It tries to rewrite pretty much all of ancient history.
And this is called the new chronology. It comes from a mathematician named Anatoly Fomenko. And he argues that if you analyze historical texts with statistics, you find all these weird, impossible overlaps. He claims that most of what we call ancient history, ancient Greece, Rome, Egypt, is largely a fake, a fabrication. In his view, these were just stories written in the Middle Ages that were copied and pasted into a made-up, distant past. He actually proposed that real recorded human history only began around the year 1000 AD.
So let's just be super clear on the difference here. Illig's theory is about a specific 300-year chunk of time that he says was inserted into the Middle Ages. Fomenko's theory, it's a complete rewrite. He's saying that almost all of ancient history is just a medieval echo, like a massive civilization-spanning case of déjà vu.
Okay, so we have these 2 absolutely mind-bending theories on the table, but what does the actual, hard evidence have to say about all this? It is definitely time for a reality check.
And this is really the biggest, most important question you have to ask. If European leaders just slipped an extra 300 years into their calendar, wouldn't the rest of the entire planet have noticed something was up?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. They absolutely would have. While Europe was supposedly in this non-existent phantom period, the rest of the world was incredibly busy. We have mountains of continuous, well-documented records from the rise of early Islam in the Middle East, the incredible flourishing of the Tang dynasty in China, and the absolute peak of Mayan civilization over in the Americas. Their timelines, they show no 300-year gap. None.
And then you've got the evidence from space, which is probably our most reliable historian of all. Halley's Comet swings by Earth like clockwork every 76 years, and we've got the receipts. We have records showing it appeared right on schedule throughout this supposed phantom period in 684 AD, 837 AD, and 912 AD. The stars don't lie, and their calendar doesn't have a 300-year black hole in it.
So, okay, if the evidence from all over the world, and even from the sky itself, completely debunks the theory, then why does it remain so compelling? Why do we want to believe it? And this brings us to the deepest part of this whole story, the psychology of a reset. You see, the appeal of these ideas taps into something very, very human. It plays on our natural mistrust of power, that nagging feeling that history is just a story told by the winners to make themselves look good. It gives us a sense of control. I mean, if the past can be changed, then maybe our own future isn't so set in stone either. And it feeds our search for meaning, hinting that there's a secret, more important history hiding just under the surface of the official story.
So what's the big takeaway here? Whether or not 3 centuries were literally forged, these theories reveal a powerful truth about our relationship with the past. We're not just passive observers of history. We are constantly editing the story of ourselves.
And this, right here, is the key idea. History isn't something ancient and permanent, carved in stone. It's much more like wet clay, constantly being molded and reshaped by whoever has their hands on it, whether that's kings and popes, or today, maybe it's algorithms and media outlets. And at the end of the day, we are all editors of our own reality, right? We curate our memories on social media, we tell stories about our successes, and we kind of edit out our failures. Well, civilizations do the exact same thing, just on a global scale.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Is history something that just happened, fixed, and final, or is it a story? A story that we are all collectively still in the process of writing?